What's up, everybody? Just going over what we're working on in the shop. Shop is still tore the hell up. Mackenzie, if you're watching this, we need you desperately to clean. So this is a 2021, I believe, Kart EOS. It's Kart makes it, but it's forget something else. It's only been raced a few times. I got one for me and my kid. I thought we were going to race, but we didn't end up doing that. So basically, I can get some use out of this thing. I mean, I dropped over $4,000 on these things. So, this seat alone was almost $500. So I'm tired of looking at it on the wall. I want to get some use out of it. The biggest thing is this here. Okay. This is a adapter that I made. And if you want some, this will go from a 58 millimeter to the 70 millimeter cross. It's, I forget the actual measurement, but it's pretty crazy. And that gives you this here, which is just fine. Everything works just fine. So now we're working on mounting the engine. But I'm going to use Tommy Reinhardt's torque converter. God, this is such a mess. I built this engine yesterday in record time. I mean, I got it new in the box, took it out. All the parts came later, and she's built and done. I couldn't believe it. Usually takes a couple days to make sure everything's right, but I'm getting pretty good at it. So this is a 225 with arc stuff. It's got the cast billet flywheel. Hand's been ported a little bit just to get rid of that edge. It's been vented. Champion rockers, 26-pound springs, the norm, but 225. So that's going to be a lot of fun on this thing, especially with a torque converter. Because the torque converter is going to make sure that these tires freaking rip around. I got to switch to a 420 chain. I was going to run 35, but the only thing that I have left is 420 stuff. And that's a 219 right there for street cars. If for dirt, you want something really strong because I'm going to be boosting the hell out of this thing. This is going to be my DADKART for the official DADKART racing that we're going to have in the spring. Rules for that are any cart. It doesn't matter what it is. You can stick a Predator engine on this thing and race it. We don't care. You got a lawnmower, don't matter. I'd like to build one of those too. As long as it's, 225cc or lower, it doesn't really matter. You could bore it out and stroke it and everything, do a 236 or whatever. I don't care. Basically stock appearing. You know what I mean? You can mod the living shit out of your engine. We don't care. When a lot of people show up and things start getting, I guess, in the groove, we'll start making classes, you know what I mean? Like based on what everybody's got, alcohol or no alcohol, flat tires versus grip. I've got 2 acres in the back. We're going to turn into a track around the outside, and we're going to drop a house right in the middle of that shit for the next couple of years. So I got to put the torque converter on, try to get this thing mounted. That's going to be the hardest part because I have this race mount, and I got to try to fit a juggernaut in here. So what I'm hoping to avoid is taking these off and bending them more to move the side or move the seat to the side more. I'd rather be towards the middle like a race cart, but I think in order to fit everything on here, we're going to have to move the seat some, and that's a hell of a project. So we're pecking away at the engine. We're running into some problems here. We have the race cart mount, and I'm going to keep that. So we're going to have to do the same kind of thing that I do when I mount the other engine. So here is the main problem. I'm using Tommy's torque converter, and for my setup, that's like the only thing you could use. If you had a down angled one, it would hit the mount right down here, and you don't want that. So I think what I'm going to do is get me a washer. I'm going to take the gear out of there and put it here in the front so that it lines up better with the sprocket, because right now I don't have an option to put the sprocket to the right anymore. Like I said, I'm really trying to avoid to not move the seat. So we're going to have to do some jimmy rigging, and but it should work. I mean, in theory, it puts a little more torque on the outside here, but I don't know, maybe I could hook up a bearing or something, hook it to there. But I think with the length that he had the back here, it should be pretty strong. He's got some great big gussets on here too, so it should be able to take it. So that's what I've got figured out, is putting that gear from here out there. So this is what I ended up doing. I put the collar in the back with the washer, and then no gear there. I had to put a little spacer to make sure that the front pulley was level, because the front pulley always has a little standoff in the back of it. So then we put the gear out here. So I don't have the keys in or nothing, so everything's just spinning. This is all just for mock-up, but I mean, in theory, it should work. The only problem is instead of the torque hitting the center of the shaft, which is best, it will now add some torsional stress here because it's on the outside. But I think with the horsepower this thing's putting out, maybe 15, something like that, 12 to 15. Who knows? I do have a black box dyno, though. We're going to find out. But anyways, so this is what I ended up doing. I just put a riser on there. I welded the bolts on top. I usually do it underneath, but I needed as much height as I could get. Everything seems to line up pretty good. I just had to cut the top of the guard off to fit in there. And then when the jug driver comes, I'll have to notch the seat out. Yeah, we'll have to figure something out to guard that from grabbing me. But whatever, we'll figure it out when that time comes. This is what we did. So we're good and clear there. And the sprocket holder is right where it should be. It's just that the key right here, I'll probably have to put a hose clamp around that sucker just to make sure she don't wobble out. Because otherwise I could turn this the other way, but I have to take off all this crap just to slide it off. And man, we'll see how this works first. If it doesn't work, then I'll have to go through a half a day's worth of BS to get that thing flipped around. I also have to build a rear bumper. I have a plastic one, but I just don't like the way it looked. So I'm just going to build like a square, hoop bumper to hook to these things out of steel. Should be good to go. I had to order the sprocket. I don't have that, which is strange. All right, man, we got the Mad Max rear bumper going on just to keep me safe. But it's mounted basically the same way a normal bumper would be. It's kind of loose. Not sure why they do that. Something with safety or to keep from bending and stuff, something like that. It covers the tires. Should be good to go. So, we'll take her off, paint her up good. Okay, so this stuff is called comp board. It's or sign board. It's aluminum with plastic in the middle, sandwiched two pieces of aluminum. Super easy to cut and work with. It has this nice plastic protection on it so that you can work on it and not screw it up. And then when you pull, it's super nice. So we're going to use this stuff to make our little side panels here. Just drill a couple holes in that sucker. There we go. Super cool little side panels. All right, here we are. Got her together with the Mad Max bumper on, the pipe. She is ready to go. The only thing we need is one more of those. We got to find it off the plastic parts and stick it on there. The rest is just waiting for the sprocket. I already got chain and everything. I'm just waiting for the sprocket to come and button her up, and she will be ready to go. This thing went together pretty freaking well. I'm surprised. I have been ordering parts for the last couple of years, like the wheels and tires when I could afford it, and then I had send make these adapters for this pain in the butt metric hub here. It's 58 millimeter. So then I had it made to the Chinese ATV size. So pretty cool little buggy here. I mean, I can't wait to rip this thing around. And with a built out 225 and a torque converter, this thing should be pretty freaking awesome. So this is going to be my DADKART right here. Like I said, we'll be racing in Leelanau County, Northern Michigan. I'll probably make a little Facebook page or something, Northern Michigan DADKART, something like that. You don't need fancy anything. Just get a cart of any kind. My kid's got a Black Widow that we got from Tractor Supply. We're going to be running that. You run what you run. Just as long as it's 225 or lower. I don't care what you do to mod, anything like that. We're just going to race and have a hell of a good time until we get multiple people. Then we can start getting classes and things like that. So we're underway, getting ready for spring.